Hello, my fellow YouTubers. This is Roy back again. So I just added a flange for another capacitor that'll come off the top. This is plastic, it fit perfect. Um, I guess I'll put a metal ring or just attach. I guess I can just connect the negative to that bolt, which would be attached to this. One thing I wanted to show you was a little experiment I'm working on, and I got the neodymium magnet. I bought a bunch of little steel axles for some gears I have, and if you take the steel, I can magnetize the steel, which I just did. So we'll look at the compass right now and see what we have. That's a north, and that's a south, right? So let's take this south off. We're going to go on the magnet here, and we're going to pull and see if that's the right magnet. The pole changes. Still says south. We're going to go over this magnet. And then we're going to pull and right off the top of that magnet. And now it becomes a north pole. I go back to this magnet and pull off of that magnet. I'm changing the poles in this steel rod and it becomes a south. Now, but what if I come up to, let's check the polarity on this side. I guess that would be south. That would be north. Okay, so I'm going to come up to the south side and we're going to rub along that strong neodymium. Bam. Okay. Let's go ahead and check the polarity. And we got a north and a south, and it seems to be a little bit stronger. So let's go ahead and come over to this neodymium. Now, if you've seen the other video that I made where I was turning the wheel, it wasn't enough to make the magnet turn over. The magnet would just do this. It wouldn't turn over. And I want to show you guys this to get it to turn over. If I take this magnetized steel and if I start flipping it, so there's your, I'm pushing it away right now. Slow it down. So you just see it spin around. There it is, look, spinning. So to get a magnet to go into a spin, you just need to have an alternating in the front of it, right? Get it to spin. Alright guys, leave your comments. Good studies coming up here. I got some cool stuff. We'll be doing some experiments on spring and tension. So for instance, if we were talking about this pipe, we can use this pipe as a reactor, and the reactor of that pipe would be the fact that um, we're in the northern hemisphere right now in North Florida. So the North Pole energy that's coming out of the North Pole is south pole magnets. Well, North Pole is coming down and goes right back down to the ground. So the fact that the energy is coming down and going down the pipe, to me, would create a tension downward in the pipe. So by using the magnets, we're going to go ahead and oscillate the magnetic field in that reactor, just like this little two-pole little steel magnet that I just made. And if we rotate it like this, we will start to see a vortex like you've seen in this wheel spin happen in the reactor, and that will react with the ground's magnetic wave, and we're looking to hit that wave. And then on the second flange is where we'll capture the energy off the reactants of the reactor, and this will be where we'll be capturing back and filling the capacitance with many magnets, many magnets, and we'll see where it goes from there. We have a DC motor here that is sticking to the metal case. Okay, you can see it's sticking. So I was just thinking, this little easy to turn magnetic motor, I got hooked up to the voltmeter here, and I'm going to spin this with my finger and watch the voltmeter. Okay. So, we're taking a little motor and we're making energy by swirling around the magnets. So all this magnet stuff got me going. So back to this with the tension that's already created. What I need to create now is a uplift. So basically, if this pipe had tension in it like this and you press down, it would always spring itself back up. So with the energy coming down the pipe, okay, it's pushing down. Now I need to create the uplift of the poles here. And that's where this will become a 4-pole reactor. Now what will happen is the 2 poles are in charge of the downward pressure that this reactor will have, and then the other 2 poles are the switch back up part of the reactor. So there'll be a constant pressuring, decompression, pressure, decompression going on with the Earth magnets. So you got North Pole energy coming down, forcing this pressure, a natural medium pressure, and then we're going to create with the wheel a reverse in that. So leave your comments, guys. We'll do some cool experiments now. Now it's time to jump in, come out of his readings. I'm going to go buy a chalkboard. We'll put a chalkboard up, and we're going to topicize the stuff that I've read, and we're going to go into some experiments. We'll do some of his experiments to show how he's saying is true. And this is the mentality back in, think about it, back in 1942, 46. So what they didn't know and what we know now is 2 different things, but we're going to put our mindset back then, and we're going to see if Ed, when he filed his patent, if the patent was or had nothing to do with electricity, because they already patented electric motors and stuff like that. So what patent would you have with electric motor at that point? So it would be more of a patent on another way of producing energy, which would be through a reactor type off a magnetic wheel that would cause an effect in the ground, which all the energy is dispersed into the ground, and it moves like the way Ed said it moves, whether it's through the wire or through the atmosphere or through the ground, it moves. So maybe Ed figured out a way to make that connection to the ground, and using the wheel as a stator instead of a rotor to the ground. And at the very end, before Ed moved out of his first location, he did file the patent there on his first location, and he did get a beat down of his life 2 days later, but he wouldn't give the two uh, state officials the pieces. So his patent, if anybody could look up his patent, if it's even recorded, which I doubt, because it never became a patent. But for us to find documents, even on in Coral Castle documents, that would show what the patent was actually for. Was it for making electric, or was it for harnessing energy out of the ground in a different manner of the two ways he speaks about making electricity? All right, you guys, leave your comments. Peace out.